And we're just going to talk very softly. We don't want to disturb this youngster, who's finding it very difficult to just stand. You can see how young it is. You see how it fits directly underneath Mum. It has no idea what to do with its trunk at all. And seemingly doesn't know what to do with its feet either. Hello. It's finding it very difficult to stand on all fours. And Mum is just helping it there and guiding it. She's relaxed. You can see her tail is wagging. She stopped and gave us a little evil eye for a moment on our way in, and we gave her some space and spoke nice and gently to her. And she's feeding on the nice tall grass there, and now stripping some of the bush willow for her afternoon tea. The red bush willow, remember, has got a nice floral sort of taste to it. It's very nice for making tea. And there's the little baby, just hiding underneath Mum's legs. Hopefully it'll come out again and show us how fresh it is. Still very dark with lots of fur on the back. Pi sees this is adorable. There she is, or he. I can't tell what sex it is at this age. But it's a little mini-me. Can you believe that turns into a big elephant eventually one day? Lots and lots of feeding. And the ears plastered against the back of the head. That baby, Paula, is a few days old. A week at most, absolutely. And while we start losing sight of those, we've got some more elephants coming down to Buffelshoek Dam. So I'm just going to move a little bit forward to see if we can get a nice look at them coming down to drink. There we go. Ah, what a beautiful afternoon. See, so you see how the elephant just stopped there. Look how they've stopped. That is where the lions walked yesterday. And that is yesterday, probably about this time. Who knows, maybe even earlier. But the scent of them is still there. And it disturbs them slightly. They can smell the lions, and they know that there's a threat. And so they will walk past that smell and down to the river. The river will still, or the dam will still attract them to drink. But it amazes me. I've seen it many times before on foot, how an elephant can pick up the smell of our feet, of a predator. And I've seen it 45 minutes to an hour after we've walked over a track. An elephant has walked and stopped dead in its tracks at the smell of our feet. And now we saw there that the elephant stopped dead in their tracks at the smell of the lions. Now they're running around the dam looking for a better vantage point to come down. One that doesn't smell of lion, but what they're going to realize is that it all smells like lion over there. Ellie, fantastic. I can guess that your favorite elephant is elephants, and it is my pleasure. I absolutely adore watching these animals, and seeing babies like the one we just did just makes my heart so warm. But let's see, I'm sure they want to come and drink, but they're a little bit worried because of the stench of lion in the air. As always, we've got the resident hippos in Buffelshoek Dam. The dam itself is taking on a very green sort of hue to it, from all the photosynthesis that's happening. Byron, we do have hippos. Yes, here they are. Aaron, sorry, Aaron. Aaron, thank you, Kirst. They are resident. And there's only two at the moment that we've seen today. Oh, how's this? We've got an army of terrapins down here, Dave, in the water. I've never seen so many heads of terrapins just sort of squirming around. Look, all those dots are terrapins. Isn't that incredible? Hello Pradeep, age 6, welcome to the show. You want to know why elephants are born, baby elephants are born with lots of hair. Well, all mammals are born with hair. Elephants, the babies just seem to have a little bit more of it visible when they're younger because they're so small. And when they're small like that, they can lose their heat very, very easily. So the fur acts as somewhat a little bit more of a warming agent on their body. We have the benefit of when we were born, our mothers put a blanket on us. Elephants don't have that. They live in the wild and they're born in the wild. And so they need a little bit more protection from losing heat. That's why also when you see the elephants, the babies, they walk around with their ears plastered onto the side of their head because they know, or not that they know, because if their ears flap, the temperature and the heat that they have in their body is constantly being lost. Very useful for the big elephants because when they're big, they can take a long time to warm up. But the youngsters, they warm up quickly and they can also lose heat very quickly. So they need a little bit of hair and they like to plaster their ears on the side of their head. You don't often see baby elephants opening their ears like that at all. Okay, so we're going to go back over to Scotty D with Tumba, and we will see you shortly. We're going to go back over to the lions.
So Tumba's just taking it easy here and relaxing after quenching his thirst. And before I forget, there's some important information, sorry about my head, that I need to share with you guys. And that is regarding a change of safari times, which is going to be in action as of tomorrow. So basically how it works, it's quite simple. We're heading out half an hour later in the morning. That's 30 minutes later on the sunrise safari and 30 minutes earlier on the sunset safari. Did you copy that? Yes. Half an hour early in the morning. Sorry, later in the morning. I knew I would do that. Half an hour later in the morning and earlier in the afternoon. And that's probably now clear. So, and the reason we've done that is to try and kind of sync our times with sunset and sunrise and not spend too much time out after dark. So that's the science behind those time changes. So Tumba, you can sleep in tomorrow morning. Isn't that good news? Very good. I'm looking forward to a sleep in, that's for certain. An extra half an hour in the morning is going to be great. It does mean, however, that we've got less time to chill during the middle of the day, but that's kind of the norm as we head into the winter. Our summer days are long with lots of time to spare. Our nights can be quite short though, and the winter is the opposite. Oh, Scarlett, you'd like to know who I think the most beautiful leopard is that I have ever seen. You know, I've seen so many in my life that it's going to be tricky to say. I mean, this guy is really, really good looking. He's young, he's flawless, he's got those beautiful greeny colored eyes. So out of our current leopards, I would say that he's the best, but yeah, I don't have one that stands out in particular for me personally. That's probably because my attention to detail with regards to how the leopards look probably isn't as good as some of you guys. It really is a skill to be able to tell them apart, and some of you guys are really good at it. And, you know, your average person will look at any leopard and say, oh, what a beautiful cat. But once you've looked at enough of them, you'll soon start to realize that some are better looking than others. Like old Shadow, it looks like she ran into the back of a bus. She's got quite a stumpy face. Or maybe the back of an elephant would be more appropriate out here. There's not too many buses around. Her sister Tundi's a little bit better looking, I think, but also slightly on the stumpy face side. So yeah, they do look different. What has Senzo spotted? Ah, well done, Sens. It was a wasp. And it didn't look like it was one of the potter wasps, one of the wasps that collect mud to build their nest. It looked like it was just taking a quick drink there. Well done, Sens. There it is, back again. Let's watch closely. Is it, in fact, collecting mud, or is it having a drink? Yeah, it looks like it's just having a drink to me. Very good. Well, two predators on the scene here, a wasp and a leopard. Let's send you across to Taylor to see what's going on her side.
not Hosanna, Tingana finally shuffled about slightly and we have a better view of him. He's looking a little bit on the scruffy side, don't you think? Looks like he hasn't groomed himself properly in a long while, or at least a little bit on the lazy side. But he did roll over, and he doesn't look too thin either, which was quite nice. Looks like he's definitely put on weight since I last saw him, so that's fantastic. It seems as though, even though he's forgotten to brush his hair, he looks a little bit better. Anna Marie, you were just wondering that, if I thought that he looked a bit thin. Of course, it is hard to tell as he lays here in the long grass, but once he gets up, we'll have a better idea. But for now, it does show no signs of him getting up just yet. But you might be able to hear there's crested francolins, there were guinea fowls, there were quite a few other birds all starting to give their last call for the evening. And perhaps it's Tingana's alarm clock, so maybe he'll be waking up from his slumber and going on a little bit of a mission. It's also now starting to cool down nicely. There's a lovely breeze. It's very gentle though, but definitely noticeable. Now, there are 7 billion people in the world that experience today in a different way. I'd like to know from all of you, how did you experience today? What was your highlight? Hashtag Safari Live, let us know. Or you can also tell us via the YouTube chat. Mine, of course, was spending both morning and afternoon safari with 2 different leopards. I think that's a great way. And I don't think there are many people in the world that can say that Sebastian and I have sat with leopards for almost 6 hours today.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome, hey? Maybe not quite, maybe close to 5 hours, but pretty special indeed. So I look forward to hearing your highlights of the day. And of course, from all different locations all over the world. It's pretty spectacular too. So now I will wait awkwardly and I'll just stare at you while you type. Was that your stomach?
No.
Was that not your stomach?
No. What was that sound?
I also heard it. I heard a weird noise, and I thought it was Seb's tummy. I thought he was hungry.
Unless it didn't feel it.
Maybe I stared so hard that there's another leopard that was scared and got a fright and ran away.
Maybe a sunrise landed.
I wonder. I'm still convinced Hosanna's around here. Cheryl, you've said that leopards for you as well. I suppose yes, if you were watching it. But what I actually want to know, not Cheryl, Michelle. My bad. Apologies. I'm going deaf in my right ear now from the directors talking to me in it all the time. Just joking. Kirsty's going on holiday tomorrow. So thankfully we'll be peace and quiet in camp. And no fighting. I'm, of course, talking absolute nonsense. She's unfortunately one of my favorite people in camp. So that's why I give her such a hard time all the time. And if you could only hear all the things that she says to me, sometimes I can't even repeat them. She's too evil. And of course she's not evil. We just tease her and tell her that she's the red-headed ice queen. Emma, you said Safari Live. Bing, 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 bing. You win the prize, which is you get to see Tingana again. There we go. How's that, Emma? Hey? Well done. I'm glad that you chose Safari Live. 10 brownie points to you. The rest of you that said something else, you better go back and change your answers. No, I'm just teasing. Right, let's very quickly go across to see where Scott is Ferrari safaring to.
Yes, we are rushing because I've got a feeling that there's a herd of impala that have been chased by wild dogs. They do a very telltale characteristic running style when they have been chased by them, and they kind of pronk their legs up, arching forward and back. And that is what these guys are doing. They don't seem too concerned here now, but 1 or 2 of them were looking back. Let's head off in that direction. They could just be jumping for joy, but there's definitely a very specific run that they do, kind of seesawing from front to back legs, and I just want to make sure it's not a pack of wild dogs that has in fact stormed through this general area and given them reason to show how strong they are. And Rabinda, you say yay, Ferrari Safari. Yes. Oh, you wouldn't believe it, but the car started whistling almost like the wooing of a wild dog. I think. Hey, Sens, you also heard that. Both Sens and I, we kind of like, oh, what was that? So this is the direction that the impala came from. Patrick, yes, wild dog are so cool, and yes, we don't see them enough. I agree with both of your points. Sadly, it looks like, though, it may have been a false alarm. Very good, so we're going to make our way back to Tamba now after we raced away from him. He must have wondered what he did wrong, and send you across to Steve, who seems to be with some lions that are thinking about moving around a little bit.
Yes, we've come back to the place, and they all, one by one, have moved, because one came and lay in the road. And I think there was a question earlier, I'm trying to remember who the question was, why do they like to lie together? And I think they have a little bit of FOMO, which is fear of missing out. As one came and lay in the road, all of them got up one by one and came and lay with them in the road. Mina, that was your question. So I think it's got a lot to do with the adult lionesses are very in tune with each other's movements. So one will get up and move, and then the other one will come and sit quite close to her, and then all the cubs and sub-adults will all follow and basically just lie very, very close so that they don't lose mum. Because they don't really have too much audio communication when they move away. They just get up and move, and if an individual doesn't follow, it gets left behind and it could go hungry. So they learn very quickly that if they don't follow the lionesses, then it could be a very lonely and miserable night for them, all on their own. Who would like to go and scratch the belly of that other one? Bless you, madam. Who would like to go scratch that belly? Oh, here comes another one of the youngsters from the side. So it's getting to that time of day with the sun setting that they're starting to get active. And I wonder if they're going to do some of their playing like they did the other day. Paula wants to know if one of the lions will stay awake or alert while the rest sleep. Paula, no, that's a negative. They are all very alert. So they will basically lie just like they are now. And if anything happens nearby, they'll all prick their heads up and do something about it. They are very alert all the time. I made the mention the other day of domestic cats. Pay attention to your cat that sits there fast asleep on the couch, but as soon as something happens that attracts his attention, that cat is up and mobile and attacking or catching or doing whatever it might be that it needs to do. And lions are exactly the same. So are leopards. They are constantly alert. Only when they are completely flat and extremely full with buffalo are they... Ooh, that is probably Amber Eyes. She doesn't like the love and attention from the others. So as soon as when they're extremely fat and full, then they don't need to worry about anything really. The only thing that poses a threat to lions is big male lions and maybe another pride. And if a pride knows that they are in their pride territory, then there's no real issue, nothing to concern them. Dave, I don't know if you can get it over there. That little youngster is on the tree again. Have you got him? Oh, we saw this individual before, busy scratching that tree and having a little bit of a stretch. Definitely the character in the pride with the most amount of energy, this little youngster. Here she comes. Lots of character in her face. First lady wants to know if the stripe or spot underneath a lion's eye has got a purpose, and it has got a similar purpose to what American football players do. They put that black underneath their eye, and it apparently helps to either reflect the light or to take the light away. So with the white, what the white underneath is actually doing is it allows a little bit more reflection with light. I'm not sure if it works, but you see with cheetah that are more of a diurnal animal, they've got that black stripe underneath the eye, and that's apparently supposed to take away a bit of the glare that might come down on their eyes while they're stalking or running in the heat of the sun. So I can only assume that the white lion has got the opposite effect for more of a nocturnal view. As we know, lions have got very, very good nocturnal vision. Is that a Shelley's Franklin calling behind there? I now hear a Natal Franklin calling. Never heard a Shelley's before, and I think I might have just heard one. Let's play it. This is how we learn. Nice to have the app. Let's have a listen, see if this is what I heard. There it is. How marvelous is that? I'll drink beer. I'll drink your beer. I'll drink your beer. I'll drink your beer. So, can you hear that? I'll drink your beer. I'll drink your beer. I'll drink your beer. Here is the Shelley's Franklin. Very nice white throat patch. And I did see one the other day, but I've never heard it call. I've never identified its call before, and that's marvellous. Well done. Okay, so while we stay here with these flat cats, let's go over to Taylor, who herself has a very flat tingana.
I feel like flat jacks? Who knows? Well, one of them, not one of them, we have two sets of flat cats. Thank goodness Tumba was up and moving around a little bit. Oh, hello. Very exciting stuff. A lick of the paw. Come on, now a big yawn. Twitch of the whisker. Twitch of the ear. He's listening to all the birds now. You can see his ears are actually pricked up. Sally in Oregon, you said that your highlight is the fact that the sun is shining. I like that one. That's a good positive to take into account. That's very nice. I'm hoping that there's a pair of fork-tailed drongos that are mimicking pearl-spotted owlets at the moment. You might be able to hear them every now and then. You hear that? But that's not the pearl-spotted owlets, the drongos, having a good laugh. I bet it's like Steve as he tried to mimic the Shelley's Franklin. It's the equivalent, isn't it? And it's very, very nice. Oh, and the sun is set. Shall we have a look at the different colours in the sky? What do you think, Seb?
Yeah.
Change it up a little bit. Because it's very quiet here with Tinga Banana as he sleeps. He's getting older now. He doesn't need to catch up on his sleep. Isn't that pretty with all the marula trees lining the open plains of Chitwa? Beautiful pinks. Few purples and blues. I mean, listen, we have seen better sunsets, but we'll take this one. It's still quite nice. It was exceptional at one point, but we're just sitting too low. I've been told that apparently I'm not descriptive enough with my colour, so Kirsten has described the sky. I think she needs to put her glasses on, though, because she's used the rose as a colour to describe the sky, and silver. Do you see any of those colours in the sky, Sebastian?
Rose? Yes. Silver? No.
What colour is the rose here? Because when I think of rose, I think red. Does anyone else agree, or am I just going crazy? Rose is pink.
Yeah.
A pinkish colour.
Pinkish. I like pink.
Okay, fine. We can get rose. Not salmon. Kirsten?
Salmon.
Kirsten, there is no silver in the sky. I promise you there's not even a cloud with a silver lining today. Full of lame jokes. Full all the time. All the corny jokes. There we go. I still can't believe we drove past him so many times without seeing him here in the grass. Quite funny, in fact. A camouflage of a leopard in the bright green grass. It even works. Now all we're waiting for is Hosanna to come walking on by, or perhaps an elephant or a buffalo or something to stir him out of the grass. The Inyala are not going to come trampling over him. They've moved in the complete opposite direction. They've actually moved up into the open area, sort of where we were looking at the sunrise, the sunset, just to give you an idea. Hello, big boy. Welcome to the party. And that's, of course, because they don't want to be anywhere near these small shrubs and the long grass, because Tingana can conceal himself quite nicely and stalk towards them and eat them. So they'll go up to where the shorter grass is. Are you waking up? Not yet. We're getting there, though. I think maybe another 10 to 15 minutes before he wakes up properly. He's only just started, or maybe not. Please prove me wrong, Tingana, please. Hello, boy. Hello, pretty boy. Give it a little bit of light here.
Oh, thank you.
Is that a bit better?
Yes.
I don't want to go into infrared just yet. I want to see how beautiful his coat is. He's looking good. He's looking really, really good. Much better. Again, just a slight improvement, and that's better than nothing. I mean, he's not super fat. You definitely put a bit more weight on. But you just, where are you going? Behind the car. Tinky, please go catch an Inyala. I really want you to catch one. He's walking right past Sebastian. He's coming around, creeping around the other side now. Look at that. Now you got to do full.
I think that's the legs I can go.
If you could only see the position that Sebastian, and let me just tell you, these cameramen, that's Seb's shoulder that you just saw. For once, it's not my hat. Do you want to do a full swing around? You're allowed to do a full swing around.
Almost.
Sebastian.
And there we are.
Oh, what has he got? No, wait, look here. What's this?
I need to swing back.
We're coming back around. He's found something. What have you found in the grass there? I'm just going to reposition slightly and put this light on. No, that one, this light doesn't work. Okay, he's eating something, but I'm going to go forward. I know Chingana doesn't mind the car moving around. Is that a tortoise? I'm going to have to call Shania Wales Bailey back into the sighting as well. I'm going to have to give you a spotlight, I'm afraid, Seb. Let me turn the lights off. Spotlight. Just a little bit of light. I'm going to get the radio and find out where Shania is, because she asked me to call her. Shania Fatela. Might be having a sundowner now. I don't know what he's got there, but it's not much of a meal. Whatever it may be. The way it's crunching like that, it's either going to be something like with small bones, maybe a bird or a tortoise or a terrapin. Tingana, you should not be eating those things. Can you see what that is yet, Seb?
Not really, no.
It's hard, eh?
It's dark, but
I think it is a tortoise.
sounds like it, yeah.
Sounds like it. Is that what it sounded like when the last time you ate a tortoise? Carly said a tortoise snack, perhaps. We're still trying to figure it out. Or a terrapin. It looks quite dark. I mean, you can listen to the crunching.
Oh.
No. The bone of sorts. Tingana, I don't know what you're eating, boy. Matt, you said it looks like an old bone. Yeah, it could quite well be an old bone, in fact. It's bizarre. I don't know. I don't think it's from his kill. I think he literally just walked and he picked it up. I mean, I'm pretty sure we would have seen him if he was on our kill here, because there were lots of vehicles that have driven up and down the Mulonidi. Ivy's got a sense of humour this afternoon. You say that Tingana is eating Doritos. Perhaps. What flavour? Leftover buffalo?
And it's the shell of a tortoise.
It is the shell of a tortoise.
I think.
You think so? That's what Seb's going with. Is that your final answer? Would you like to phone a friend? No? Anyways, it's not a good meal for him. But if he is feeling a little bit under the weather, like we see with young leopards that haven't quite mastered the art of bringing down big prey, he's just going to take whatever he can get. I went to Australia there, or New Zealand. Whatever he can get. I don't even know what accent I was doing there. And the other personalities are now coming out. So, even if it is just a little bit of a meal, you know, like a little snack, a little energy bar, that's okay. That's fine. It's better than nothing, I suppose. But it is nice to see him up. Can we go? Is it okay if we go into infrared? Seb, how do you feel? I don't want to put actually.
We can.
Cool. We're going to change.
Ready.
Final control. Are you ready to go into infrared? Well, too late. We've gone into it. There we are. We've gone into infrared, everybody. Now he can eat in peace. I just wanted to see the coloration on whatever he was devouring, and now I'm shuffling in my seat because I'm uncomfortable. So I'm trying to get comfortable again. It doesn't smell very nice, that's for sure. Is that are those not teeth? There. Can you see what I'm looking at, Seb?
No. Did you see teeth?
I thought I saw a tooth. But I could be mistaken, though. I'm trying to look on the monitor.
Then it's not a tortoise.
It's not a tortoise. Sebastian has retracted his statement earlier.
No, I'm saying if it's got a tooth.
If it's got a tooth, then yes. Here's Shanae. Shanae Taylor. You're welcome to come back now. He's up. He's eating something that we have no idea what it is. You can maybe come and help us identify it. He's maybe an old tortoise or an old bone. There we go. I think Shanae's guests have been very excited to see Tingana, and all they saw was a flat cat like we've been sort of sitting with. But we kept our patient pants on, and they paid off. Wonderful. Shame boy. I'm hoping he's going to catch something a bit more substantial. Sinek, you're wondering how strong are leopards' teeth? Well, tough enough to break through the shells of tortoises, to crunch small bones, and a variety of other things, and be able to tear through thick hide of the animals that they feast upon. So not so bad, in fact. However, I suppose it depends on a number of different things, because we often see leopards with broken teeth. It's not an uncommon thing. What have you heard? Where's the spotlight? Yeah, he stopped and he looked away. Let me get the spotlight and just shine in the distance to see if anybody's coming through. Maybe Hassan has heard the crunching and has come running, like the equivalent of, banging the dog balls. That sort of tinny noise, and then normally the dogs come running. Right, and so it seems as though infrared is now the theme of the evening because the sun has gone down. Tumba is also in black and white.
Yes, still in the same spot, but just in black and white now. He's taking it easy. Something got his attention. He kind of pivoted his head and looked to the east. I'm not sure what he heard. Whether it was another leopard or something. He kind of whipped his head around, looked in that direction, but wasn't too perturbed by whatever it was that caught his attention a bit earlier. Other than that, he's just been taking it easy here, and we've just been enjoying relaxing next to him. Interesting stuff there with Tingana and his little snack. Happy you guys got what sounded to be some great audio of him crunching away there. Now, are you going to get up and take us for a walk, or are you going to spend the rest of the safari here, Tumba? I've got a feeling he's looking like he might move. He's kind of not too sure what he wants to do, but I think he does want to do something. And we've definitely got good prospects for the sunrise safari tomorrow. We've got a very short drive to try and establish where he had started moving from when he leaves here. He's very close to our camp. Peter, you've mentioned how he looks very small, and yes, compared to Tingana, he is very small. So quite nice that you can compare 11 to 12-year-old male leopard versus a 2-year-old male leopard. Those are both just rough ages of the two individuals you've been spending time with this afternoon. He's still got a lot of growing to do. Well, we're going to send you from the sleepy leopard across to Steve with some sleepy lions.
Yes, thanks very much, Scotty. The lions have got their heads down. They're doing something that those of you in the army will know, or have been in the army, is you rest when you can. And when it comes to the lions, that is often. But you never know. I mean, I had a few friends who were in the army, and they said that you eat and sleep whenever you have the opportunity. And that's what these lions are doing. Ellie, age 7, good afternoon, good evening. How are you doing? You'd like to know, why do the lions sleep in the day? Well, first of all, it is very hot in the daytime, and they want to save a lot of energy. We move around in the daytime because we can see, and so that for us is advantageous because we are safe in the daytime. Lions, it's very hot when they're full of buffalo or full of meat, or even if they're not full, it's very hot. They want to save the energy, and they'll sleep in the day to rest, to expend as little energy as possible, because as soon as the temperature gets cool and the evening comes, their nocturnal vision becomes very, very good. Just like the infrared we saw a moment ago when we look at the lions, they can kind of see in that spectrum, and they can see animals out there, and they can hunt very efficiently at night. So this is very typical of lions to be like this, but as soon as one starts moving, they can't help themselves. They all get up and start moving. There you can see we're in infrared again. But lions sleep for about 20 hours a day, maybe 18, maybe 19, depending on the day. So it's not just in the day that they sleep. They actually spend a lot of time at night also sleeping, because once they make a kill and they get lots of meat in their belly, there's no need for them to do anything else. They don't have to go to the shops. They don't have to go to the bank. They don't have to pay tax. They don't have a job. They don't have to take their kids to school. So they just move and sleep, hunt and sleep, drink some water and sleep. And that order can change, but invariably there's lots of sleep involved. Sean, that's a very interesting question. Why have feline predators evolved to be bigger than canines? Well, wolves are pretty big, I think, in comparison to wild dogs. They're quite large, but that might have to do with the temperature in the areas that they come from. Tigers are probably the biggest cats in the world, and they've evolved to be bigger because of the prey species that they feed on. Leopards, for example, here in the Kruger National Park, get up to about maximum, the males, about 90 something kilograms, about 180, 190 pounds. But down in the Cape, probably about 1,000 kilometers from where we are, 1,200 kilometers, what's that, about 500, 600 miles, there are leopards down there called the Cape leopard, which is exactly the same species as the leopards up here, and they get up to maximum of about 40 kilograms. So the size is half that of the leopards nearby, and a lot of that has got to do with the fact that they feed on smaller prey, klipspringer and probably some bush pig, and their prey species down there is very, very small in comparison, so they've evolved to be smaller. Leopards up here, the savanna opened up, and they're living in more open environments. Lions as well, more open environments, and the herbivores that are out here that they feed on and specialize in are much, much bigger. But the lion got to as big as it can to support its sort of weight in this environment with regards to energy expenditure and heat. And then instead of getting bigger than that, they decided to join up into groups, into prides. And now as a pride, they can take down much larger animals than they could individually. So that in a nutshell is, I possibly think, the reason why lions have gotten so big. But why wild dogs haven't gotten any bigger is because the prey species that they feed on primarily is something like an impala. They're quite small, they're not very big, and they don't need to be any bigger to pull down an impala. So obviously the herbivores that are bigger than that invariably get left alone by the wild dog, but wild dog will take animals as large as kudu, which is a very, very big animal, but they don't need the size. They need fitness and stamina, and if you're big and bulky, it's very hard to run for a long period of time. And so wild dogs are able to run very, very far. For example, if you watch these marathon runners, they're quite skinny, and sort of the weight on these people is very, very small in comparison to someone who does, for example, heavy weightlifting. Now, the weightlifter would probably be able to chase someone about 20 meters, and if he caught him, he would pull him down quite easily. But the marathon runner will be able to chase anyone as far as they need to, and then if they need to bring them down, they will, because the person's tired. I hope that answers your question, but we're going to go over to Taylor quickly, because Tingana's up and mobile.
Well, he is indeed. We've got Shanae lighting him from behind us. Very kind of her. And he's going to come and walk right past the car. Look at him. I think he looks much healthier. Looks like he's got a bit more of a personality since the last time that we saw him. So don't give up on our king just yet. He's still got a bit of fight left in him. Well, I'm convinced that he does. I've seen these leopards bounce back like you cannot believe. And you should all remember from Well, Mvula. Like, this is so cool. He's going to come right past. Well, he's not coming right past the car. Just watching him, of course, when a male leopard walks past. That's amazing. Now, First Lady, you're wondering if I think that his dewlap has shrunk. I suppose because he's slightly on the thinner side. That, yes, it's not going to be as prominent as what it was, because remember that dewlap's going to be enhanced when he's fat and filled with a waterback or impala or something along those lines. But now, while he has been sick, he has lost a lot of condition. You can see he's definitely lost muscle. So it's going to take him a bit of time to get back to where he was. Oh, where's Hosanna now? Could have double threat of leopards. He's going to go drink. We're just figuring out what the best way, where we're going to go to see him. I think I'm going to go down, I'm going to go round and past Shanae. We're going to do this. Maneuvers, Mara maneuvers in the Sabi sand. Woo. I think it was from Chris. Chris, you're wondering what is my favorite leopard experience? Ah, that is the correct name. My favorite leopard experience. I'm just going to park. Where's he going? No! Tingana, come back! Don't go there. He's going towards the lodge now. He's just sat down. My favorite leopard experience. I've had so many. That one this morning was pretty cool with Hosanna. That was pretty amazing. Kuchava's always great. She posed as well. I'm trying to think. I had a really amazing sighting all by myself once of Kruger, Chris. Basically what had happened was, I'm going to let Shanae spot because I'm a bit further away from her, so her light's a little bit brighter, so we'll enjoy it. It looks like a ghost of the darkness, don't you think? All the hippos are upset now. So basically what had happened, I was following Kruger for TV, and it was in the evening, and I followed her, and she'd left Hosanna and Shongile. And the next minute she started stalking. I was actually on the phone to my mom. Can you believe this? So I started speaking a lot softer, saying, Mom, I am with a leopard, but she had to phone me. She was upset that I hadn't called her for a few days, mom duty. And I was whispering and I was telling her, all right, Mom, I'm just going to talk softer now because Karula's hunting and this is really cool. And then in the next minute she just took off and she caught an impala right in front of a car, right in front of me. It was incredible. So that was pretty amazing. I'm trying to think now of all my favorite leopard sightings. Every sighting that I've had with every single animal has been special. Sometimes they just get put in filing cabinets right at the back. But what has been your favorite sighting, your favorite leopard sighting? You can also share with us. You can hashtag Safari Live and let us know. I mean, having Hosanna on bushwalk the other day, that was exceptional. I mean, how often do you get to do something like that? So that was quite cool as well. He's staring into the lodge. I don't know if he's maybe heard an impala or something like that. So let's see. See, my light, I'm a bit further away. My light's not as great. What's Shanae doing? Are they going? Okay, well, let's go a bit closer then. I was hoping he's going to come towards the dam. Okay, we're going to drive very carefully and not get charged by any hippos. Wait, you over there. Stay on target. Steady. Oh, maybe I should go into gear. And we're going to try and get another view of Hosanna without driving into Chitwa Dam. So while we do that, off we go back to Scott.
Caleb Taylor's obviously had a long day. Hosanna, Tingana, sounds similar enough. And let's hope that she manages to dodge the hippos. Sounds like fun. He's just put his head up. Not too sure why. He initially kind of did it, I think, to scratch a little itch behind his ear. But he looks quite comfortable and settled in here for the time being. Now, it'll be very useful for you guys to help us with any updates as to where he heads from here. I wonder what he heard. He's heard something out there. But what it is, I can't be certain. It could be something far away, or it could be something quite close. What are you listening to, Dumba? It could be any number of things. Some some kind of footsteps approaching him, some audio of lion and leopard or impala, any alarm calls in the distance that aren't audible to our ears. Wonderful. Well, we're going to send you from this lazy leopard to Tingana, who at least is up and on the move.
It's only taken him a few hours before he got there. So I think what he's doing, I think he's looking for a terrapin to catch, and that's why he was staring into the water, to be honest. And I think what he was eating earlier, was indeed a terrapin. And no, just because he isn't feeling himself and he isn't too happy, that's what he needs to feed on now. So you see, he's just sitting. I want to show you how close he is to the water's edge. No, he's seen something else. There we go. You see, the water's right here, and he was staring at it a minute ago, but now he's changed his direction. He's sort of looking into the reeds. So there might be some birds in there too. Eloise, you said that your favorite leopard moment had to be when Tingana stole Tandi's kill. Oh, fantastic. That's incredible. I don't think I was here for that. See how he stopped again? Keeps looking at the water. I'm sure he's after whatever he can snatch up. Seb, what's your favorite leopard sighting?
So that one, when Tingana stole Tandi's kill.
There we go. Eloise, Seb agrees.
And also when we had the fight between Tandi,
all of them.
and Osana.
Yes.
Yes.
That was an exceptional thing to see. So Seb was saying he also enjoyed and learned quite a bit from the Shongile versus Tandi versus Tamba versus the onlookers, Hosana, and then apparently Tingana came in afterwards as well. So yeah, that was also pretty spectacular. I remember that sighting I had though as well. Another memorable one for me was when Tamba was up the tree, Shongile was down below, and Shadow was only 50 meters away from them as well, but she had no idea that they were even around. And I'm sure her cub was close by too, not Barbara. She was somewhere around there as well. Now, if Tingana carries on going, we're going to lose him. There's a bird. I'm just scanning around because he's walking right in front of the lodges now. We are going to struggle to keep up with him here just because I've already driven us into a huge hole and I'm going to have to go all the way around again. He's definitely looking for something. Okay, we're going to have to go around. I'm getting devoured by bugs now. Right, while we try and navigate and not fall into any more holes or drown in Chitwa Dam, off you go back to Steve with the lions.
Thanks very much, Taylor. Yes, we were also being chowed by bugs, as you say, just before on the last segment. Mosquitoes are enjoying the tenderness of our ankles. We were not being chowed by lions. They are lying very flat. You can see there's not much of a breeze. The grass there just moving a little bit in the wind, but not much of a breeze whatsoever. It's a glorious night. It's going to be pitch black. The moon will be up very, very late. Hello, Scarlett. You'd like to know if I prefer lions or leopards. Scarlett, before coming to Safari Live, I had spent a lot of time with lions back in the past, and I really enjoy hanging out with lions, especially lions that are moving. The other day, the evening with David, we were out with the Nkumas and they were playing. That for me was magical. I haven't spent time with lions like that in some time, but being here at Djuma has been very special with the leopards. I can't say I prefer this one or that one. Obviously, spending time with Tandi and her cub when she's playing is unbelievable. Or when any of the cats are doing something, it's very special. Like following Tani today was very, very special to do. Lions and leopards, it's just a whole different ball game. I love both of them. I love spending time with both of them. But historically, I've got way more experience with lions than with leopards. So I'm really enjoying the opportunity here, spending time with the leopards of Djuma. And we don't get to spend enough time with Nkuhumas on the property because they keep moving out. As we sit here, we're only about maybe 50, 60 yards from our northern boundary, which is behind us. So who knows what these lions are going to do? Are they going to be here in the same place when we come back tomorrow morning? I doubt it. They're definitely going to get up and have a move. But while they wait, they all, as I said, are in the army, so they all rest and sleep as much as they can until someone makes a move. And as soon as the general sits up and starts moving, they all reluctantly get up and start following, so as not to be left behind. Wonderful. A ball of fur in the road. And with the IR, it is really cool how we can see them, because right now they're in front of our vehicle, and without the IR, it is invisible. They are, have a look. Have a look without the IR. Dave is going to, there we go. That is what we are looking at right now. If it was not for the IR, I would be sitting here blind, wondering if the lions had already moved away, which has happened to me before in the past. I've spent time with lions. I was out doing work in the Kruger Park, and I had a little bit of a siesta on my chair, and when I woke up, the lions, 24 of them, had disappeared. And it is quite a daunting feeling when you're in a vehicle like this that's got no roof and no doors, to wonder, did they come and have a smell? Did they have a look at me? Did they jump on the door? Oh, there we go. There's some movement, folks. One of the leading lionesses got her head up. Is it going to last long? It's possibly picked up on some movement off to our left-hand side. No one else seems to have stirred, though. She stares into the darkness. Yes, Michelle, it is very dark out here. And that lion is staring deep into the depths of the darkness. And if it could see something, it would actually be able to see it. Whereas that's why we are not creatures of the night. And we are here with the Ngumas, one lioness looking in the darkness. If anything changes, we'll come straight back here. But I believe that little prince, or that little Tumba with Scotty D, is up and mobile. Let's go have a look.
He is, but he's gone straight behind the vehicle. And if you lay down there, and I think he's scratching his ear, so we're not going to be able to get you a view of him for the time being, and I don't want to start the car while he is so close behind us. I can just see his tail curling out when I look behind me over here. And no, he's up and moving again, so maybe we'll be able to get you some views of him now. Yeah, there might be a pole in the way, but there he slinks off. I'm just assisting with a little bit of extra light from my flashlight, because we're just running on the camera's little IR light. The big proper IR light for this vehicle has gone on strike. We haven't managed to fix it just yet. And off he slinks. Wonderful. Beard, you've got a kind of interesting way of thinking about how the big cats may see after dark, and you're suggesting that possibly is it kind of similar to how we see with the IR. Not this IR light, possibly the other IR light, which has got a much bigger throw than the little one on this camera. But I think, yes, quite possibly. That other light would probably be a good or close resemblance to how they see after dark. Okay, let's try and catch up with him again. And while we do that, we're going to send you back across to Taylor to see how old Tingana is getting along.
Well, he's sitting quite far away from us, as you can see. You just see the glittering of his eyes in the infrared light. Now, we parked a distance away from him because he's sitting right in front of the guest rooms at Chitwa. And I don't want to be sitting there with all my bright lights, as you can imagine, especially since we're looking onto the bathrooms. And it is about that time that the guests will be coming back from safari, and I'm sure they'd like to freshen up in peace and quiet. I also don't know if I'm ready. I think I might be too young to see all of that, so I moved away and hid behind the trees. And then also, Tingana has clearly shown that he's interested in something. I mean, whether it's going to be a terrapin or a scrub hare or a bird or an antelope of sorts that will be roaming around the lodge. So I don't want to give his presence away, because all the birds have now settled down and are not bothering him anymore. The blacksmith lapwigs were very unhappy with him at one point when he was shuffling about, but now that it's all gone peace and quiet, he can just slink away in the darkness. Now, Kusife, you've said your favorite big cat sighting has to be with that little tiny chameleon, the bravest chameleon that's ever existed in the whole wide world, that was crawling around on Mfumo's mane. Yes, that was another great sighting. I was definitely envious that Evia got to see and experience that. I mean, that is, again, that's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. And that's where you're all so lucky with Safari Live, is that because we're going out so often, we see just the most magnificent things. And it's one thing seeing it with your guests, you know, privately on safari, but being able to share it with thousands and thousands of people all across the world takes it to a whole nother level. Yo. These bugs are bad, let me tell you. They are not pleasant this evening. They're not biting me now, but they're getting in my hair, and I'm getting tangled in my hair. Now, he's walking towards one of the big floodlights, actually, that are outside the rooms. He's getting closer. I wonder what he's seen up there. There's so many Inyala and bushbuck that hang around in that area. There you can see the light. Now imagine the guests that are in the suite over here, coming out to have a shower and looking out going, leopard. Or if they're South Africans, they go, yo, leopard. What have you seen, boy? What have you got there? Conrad has now said another word. And Conrad, just for those of you that are still unfamiliar with his name, he's one of our engineers, our technical geniuses. I don't actually know what word Conrad has just said, unfortunately. Can you repeat it to me, Kirsty? I won't repeat it out loud. Leopard, which is leopard. But I didn't understand the accent that Kirsty had quite used there. See, he's put his nose into the air. He's sniffing the air now. So he's definitely curious. I think he's going to be spending the entire night around the lodge. So perhaps we will do another venture onto Chitwa to see if Tingana has made a kill. But off you go, back across to Djuma, where Tamba is on the go again.
He is on the go. He's kind of just stopped behind that bush, unfortunately, but hopefully he will continue out. There we go. Well done, Tamba. You're getting the hang of this now. Beautiful. And I think it's fair to say we've been spoilt rotten this afternoon. Look at how he flattens his ear. He's approaching another little waterhole where he may have another drink. Just making sure there's no unsuspecting victims that could be waiting nearby. Are you going to have another drink, boy? Oh, there's food next on your list of priorities. What on earth was that? Can you believe it? Did you just try to catch a terrapin? I think you did. How cool was that? That was the last thing I was expecting you to do. Well done on having a shot, though. I've never seen a leopard do that before. Very cool. Magical stuff. Now, one final reminder that tomorrow's sunrise safari will be starting half an hour later. Hey, boy. Giving Senzo a good squiz there. And I'm just going to have to reposition the vehicle quickly so we can give you some final views of him before we say goodbye. But a massive thanks for all of you guys for joining in on the action. I hope you've enjoyed the safari. It's been quite exciting, I believe. And what a great way to finish off. Just sitting, watching this boy head off into the darkness.